My name is Jeremy Walton, and this is Soft Lighting in Film. Let's go! When it comes to cinematic lighting, you have a lot of choices. I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions on the topic about what you should do to achieve that cinematic look. I've done a couple videos about cinematic filmmaking that covers everything from lenses to format and dynamic range, but for this video, I want to discuss something specific, and that's going to be soft lighting. What you're looking at now is some soft lighting. I have a nice big soft box that diffuses the light to give a more pleasing aesthetic. That's usually how soft light is described, and there's a lot of videos that show you how to achieve the look. Although when it comes to film, you might hear some different terminology and different reasons for using soft light. Besides, it's a more flattering light. That's what I'm interested in and what I want to dive into for this video. First up on my list is creating the look with soft light. The best way to describe this is to look at the 2012 film Killing Them Softly, directed by Andrew Dominik and cinematography by Greg Fraser. What I really like about some of the research I did for this film was the description of how they wanted the film to look, which involves soft light. I think it's important as filmmakers to speak a certain language, or better yet, just being able to describe what you want. Even if other departments are executing those ideas, you need a vision. Dominik tackles this when he says, "I was very interested in doing something that didn't look lit, and Greg's attitude about that was really good. His approach is very much about reacting to what's there in a location and supplementing it. Our basic idea was a low-con image, kind of creaminess that harked back to a look that might have existed in the 70s. That's a vision, and soft light, while being a part of the look, isn't the only creative choice to fulfill that look. That's why soft light, at least for me, and I assume to others, isn't 100% about lighting. Soft light can be accomplished with the help of lenses as well." Dominik refers to this when he says, "Greg suggested that Panavision anamorphic lenses in tandem with the kind of lighting style we wanted would produce a really creamy image, and we shot a lot of tests with Panavision lenses on his Canon 5D Mark II. Then it was a matter of coming up with a look on film that would match what we were getting on the 5D. I just want to point out, here's a $14 million film with Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, Ray Liotta, and they shot test footage with the 5D and matching film to it. So don't think you can't do the same. Maybe not the same actors, but definitely the same camera." I don't want to get too much into lens choices, but as you can see, they also played a role in creating the soft look, or how I like to put it, complementing the soft light. Nowadays, you can see a lot of people talking about filters as well. I did do an entire video about filters in film if you want to see a similar breakdown of how they're used. Check it out. Getting back to creating the look, the team put all this together with great results. When I watched the film, I could feel the look, which is something that sticks with me when watching any movie. When I thought about doing a YouTube video about soft light, this film immediately popped in my head after almost 10 years. I think that says something. Fraser goes on to say, "Where possible, I always use soft lighting. Cinematographers sometimes use hard backlight to give the appearance of sharpness, but I tried to avoid that. We were going with soft lenses and soft lighting, and often with soft faces. Creaminess is something you feel you can enter into, like a bath. You want to be absorbed and encompassed by it." That's a perfect description and a perfect example of describing what you want. There's a lot that goes into soft lighting, and I hope this film shows it's not all about making faces look pretty. The second topic I want to cover is telling a story with soft light. Soft light, as we know it, is pleasing, but is that the only reason to use it? At times, maybe, but I want to explore other reasons to use soft light, and that brings me to the 2013 film Her, directed by Spike Jonze and cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema. If you've seen the movie, there is some very pleasing images. There's actually a lot going on with choices of lighting, color, and set design being depicted in the future, and we could just think, oh, soft light equals flattering and be done with it. But of course, I wouldn't pick this film if that's what I or the filmmakers thought. The choice of color in the film became an important piece in the story, and just like soft light, it becomes more than just a color or source. Hoyt van Hoytema describes this as, "It's very easy to say we want everything to be warm, but what is warm? It was not only that we wanted the colors to be warm, but we wanted colors to have a specific identity." Those are some good questions, and what I love about filmmaking. It's taking what we know and twisting, shaping, contorting it to visually tell a story. He goes on to say, "As the movie progressed, we did add more color and more clearly designed elements, but the overall theme was a future that was soft and intimate. Not only were they using soft light, soft is how they describe the future city, and when it comes to intimate, why would that come up? Well, the movie is about a man having a relationship with an AI. Actually, I would say a relationship with an AI's voice. So it's all about Joaquin's character. Hoyt van Hoytema says, "For the movie to work, you have to access Theodore's feelings. And when we tried to give a little distance, it didn't work. We lost the intimacy when we drifted away from him." That's why you see so many close-ups in the film. The camera is right up in his face so we can see everything. Hoyt van Hoytema adds, "This film is so much about character nuances, subtle facial expressions, emotions in the eyes." Now, keeping all that in mind, what kind of lighting will work best if we really need to see every detail of the face to convey every emotion? Would harsh lighting that falls into deep shadows be best, or would something gentle, clear, and soft, which not only visually helps but emotionally feels intimate, work better? I think we have our answer, and not once was flattering light on the actors discussed. This is the language I'm talking about, and I hope you can see the difference. Next up is going to be the practical side of soft lighting. We've mostly been talking about what people would refer to as film theory when looking at the two previous films, but there's also a practical side of using soft light as well. In order to take a look at this, we're going to jump back to 2004 with Collateral, directed by Michael Mann, cinematography by Dion Beebe and Paul Cameron. This is a film that has some mixed reviews when it comes to the look of the film. In the early 2000s, HD cameras were still fairly new, and the film was shot on the Viper and F900 for a few main reasons. Cameron explains Mann's reasons when he says, "He wanted to use the format to create a kind of glowing urban environment. The goal was to make the LA night as much of a character in the story as Vincent and Max were." So how do we do this practically? What kind of lighting would you use and for what reasons? It becomes pretty simple based on what the filmmakers wanted to do. We wanted to avoid a sense of directional lighting. Also, we were cross-shooting a lot with 2 or more cameras and incorporating a lot of camera movement into shots, so we always had to allow for that within our lighting setups. Based on that, we can see why soft light was being used. Sometimes your location or camera setups will determine the kind of lighting you'll be using. To get that soft light, a lot of Kino flows were used with several layers of bleached muslin. Lighting in that environment required a lot of subtlety. It was about supplementing existing lighting and being as transparent with it as possible. I saw this film in the theater. I watch a lot of movies, and I personally like the look of the night exteriors. And when you break down the movie and see some of the challenges they faced, it makes sense why they shot it this way. I think the LA night acted like another character, and just to throw out another comparison, Michael Mann did another movie, Heat, that took place in LA, which has a totally different vibe, but I'll save that for another video. With these examples, what can we walk away with in terms of soft lighting? You can watch a lot of YouTube videos and learn the basics of soft lighting and why you might want to use it, but it can go beyond that. Soft light can mean many different things. It can be used in many different ways, and it's up to you as a filmmaker to figure that out. Well, there you have it, soft cinematic lighting in film. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button because there's definitely more in the way. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Leave a comment if you want to continue this conversation, and until next time, it's a wrap.